That's what we wanted to hear. Let's just check course conditions now and see how it stacks up for race 5, Group A.
Yeah, it's looking good, Stephen. We have between 9, 10 knots. It is now round into the northeast, and we're expecting it to keep rotating. But just look at the swell. The ghost boat you see protecting that right-hand side, and I think it is very much right, because we think that the breeze is going to head in that direction. The swell's going to be a big talking point in this race, way bigger than the breeze we currently have.
Definitely going to be using some of your surfing skills today. Absolutely getting huge VMG gains for getting on some of these swell lines. So if you're into your surfing and foil surfing, today is the day that you will be very much enjoying.
So this is race 5, the start of the final 4 races in Group A. We already have 3 semi-finals out of Group B, which is Sweden, the Netherlands, and South Team Barcelona representing Spain, which are the invited teams. These are the America's Cup teams, and it's now you've got to really put it down if you're below the cut line, which is Sweden, Switzerland, France, and the USA.
Yeah, it's light enough breeze also to be slightly in the danger zone about falling off the foils, particularly in this pre-start when you're sailing through everyone's dirt. So real danger, lots of risk in this pre-start. And France are off the foils. The clock is ticking down. They have to get going.
Really important to take off down swell in these conditions. Just using that swell from behind to help accelerate the boat. A bit of a VMG assist. Other teams foiling currently, so Foreign Express, L'Oreal Racing really need to get the boat taken off there. You can just see how big that swell is coming through, and there's about 2 different swell angles, so not just one swell angle coming from the one direction, but 2 different swell angles, so we'll see some big lumps. Really big day for the trimmers today.
France still haven't got going. Luna Rossa heading back to the line. Final tack for Athena Pathway. Nice maneuver, plenty of pace. Italian slow a bit early for the line.
Actually got Athena Pathway quite late to this start. Very close, but
let's go racing on a Thursday. Race 5, Group A, Puig Women's America's Cup.
Penalty.
The Italians did so well. So well. They were 7 meters back, doing 26 knots. Beautifully judged from a very long way out.
They're right on the back of a swell at the moment. Emirates Team New Zealand. Joe Alley there with Molly Meach just getting on the top of a really nice swell line off the start, and you just see how much gauge they peeled up on that swell.
France was penalised against Switzerland, but has completed the penalty.
Really important to tack absolute max speed in these conditions.
Okay, first boat tacks. We're happy to go in 10.
Okay, bend down a bad wave here.
Yep.
That's good
on our
on
space.
that good on the course, Joe. And speed
Good
here.
on the course.
Oh,
Okay.
the Swiss losing the rudder. That will be a big penalty. They struggle to take off there, back punching into the swell. So unfortunate moment there for Alinghi Red Bull Racing.
Okay, height, full count.
Just looking at the pre-start there, that incident we had, France just couldn't really get out of the way. They were stuck in the water.
A bit of a sitting duck at that particular time, so they would have paid that penalty off quickly, but unfortunately off the foils. Kiwis executing their tack nicely, top right of screen, so they'll be leading the race. And Athena Pathway doing a good job.
Yeah, this swell state is meaning coming out on port is really difficult. And we're right on the bow of Emirates Team New Zealand as they head towards us. And Athena Pathways bow forward into leeward, so they'll be the leading two boats. But yeah, port is the hard upwind tack, and downwind is going to be starboard. Downwind will be the hard jibe, just because of the sea state.
Nice, you'll see them now.
Potentially much easier on starboard tack.
Oh, the Kiwis, Shirley, they've just woofed it into the back of a wave and they've come off the foil, so they need to rebuild their speed quickly and take off, or they will get mown down here very, very quickly. Pressure manoeuvre for Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Nice tack there.
Starboard definitely the more relaxed of the tacks here. Port, as we see with the Kiwis, so challenging.
Really important to manage the trim and the heel really well, punching into this swell. These boats all being controlled by an auto ride height autopilot, so you still have to manage your ride height though. You can choose to trim up and down.
Taking, and when you're ready, it's 24. Yeah, at 24.
Okay, brought down at 2, 1, and turning.
9, 2, 1,
Just keeping it on the foils. Emirates Team New Zealand need to get on another big swell here. You can see when you're caught on the back of one how slow you are. Teams that are surfing upwind, big VMG gains. There'll be nothing in this next tack between Athena Pathway and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, basically level pegging at the moment.
This is the race committee. We are moving the leeward gate, shortening to 0.9 nautical miles.
Well, the Americans off the foils. Not good for them. They really needed an outstanding day.
Meanwhile, at the top gate for the first time in race 5, it's the top 3 teams in Group A that are managing to stay ahead of the rest of the fleet. The green circle denoting Emirates Team New Zealand have it right of way, and big points here would certainly push them a little higher and further ahead of Alinghi Red Bull Racing. So they will take that right mark, as you said, and complete leg number 1. All these boats really working hard, but it looks like Emirates Team New Zealand might be off the foils. Whoa, look at the conditions they're dealing with.
Right on the edge of foiling. Athena Pathway doing a really nice job there to stay airborne. Hannah Mills, Saskia Clark, Tash Bryant, Hannah Diamond.
Yeah, we're right next to Athena Pathway as they come out. They're punching straight into the breeze, as are Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. And it's all about just keeping that apparent wind forward and then being very, very conscious that at the top of the swell, you've got good pressure. The bottom of the swell, that wind speed differential is huge. So good trimming and helming essential.
Athena Pathway, Shirley right on the edge there of keeping the boat on the foils. They're just off, so they need to accelerate down a swell and actually get the boat airborne again.
Hannah Mills, Saskia Clark. Did well not to lose too much pace.
Alinghi Red Bull Racing finally complete leg number 1 after getting off the foils earlier in the leg.
Max power, speed is increasing. I stop in 3, 2, 1. Here, I'm happy.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli just rolling around the bow of Athena Pathway, so that would have hurt Athena Pathway. They would have had to sail through the dirty air. You just see the surfing now. Really, really tricky conditions to sail a boat, and very, very large angle changes of apparent wind angle and in apparent wind speed. So a huge amount of trimming going on the aero package. Emirates Team New Zealand doing a beautiful job, Shirley.
Yeah, they have come down this run.
Setting up for a dive now.
Quite a lot more pressure, though it doesn't look easy. Joe Alley.
Hold on.
Gemma Jones behind her trimming. Big day for the trimmers, this.
Every manoeuvre very, very key. Hopefully they've managed to keep the boat just airborne. You see the big, big surf there. The boat will accelerate for the Kiwis, but they only just kept on top of that.
Yeah, both the British just getting a bit of pace, but will have to manoeuvre. Italians off the foils. Huge power in the sails. Look at the depth in that mainsail.
Beautiful jibe on Athena Pathway, sailing straight round Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. They will have to jibe, and very, very difficult to take off, punching back into that swell direction on port jibe. So they'll need some more pressure, more breeze. If you have wind, you can punch through using that extra power, but if it doesn't get any more breeze, you're in big trouble.
Okay, this is a medium right number.
Tash Bryant steering there, and a diamond behind her.
More pressure coming on in 10, 15.
This is the race committee. We are moving the windward gate, shortening the course to 0.8 nautical miles.
Hi, mate.
Kiwis have just had a splashdown at the bottom of the course. It's just really tricky with these swells, and what it's about is when you do a manoeuvre, you want to be doing it on the front face of the swell, not on the back face where you're deaccelerating. So there's really big opportunities for the trailing boats to come at the Kiwis here because they're stuck in the water.
British boat in great pressure there. There they are, flying down.
Stand by.
Okay, 50, you got time, 15.
Copy.
Getting ready for the jibe back.
2, 1, 4 down. Landing.
I will. Yeah, all the way around. 9 knots. Hold on, all the way. Angle sense.
Yeah, cool. Nice work.
Rolling away. Staying here for now. Rolling away, touch.
British,
Yeah, got you all the way.
if they stay on the foils here,
Okay, so
they
that
will
boat
be
there at the bottom.
leading at this bottom gate. Emirates Team New Zealand just were a little slow turning their boat, washed off a lot of speed before actually getting back to full power again in that jibe. So the British team will sail straight round them if they can keep their boat on the foils. And we have Alinghi Red Bull Racing also coming down the course on the foils as well.
Do we definitely want to go as far as
Alinghi
that
Red
boat
Bull
now?
Racing currently
Right-hand
under
side,
the cut line, sitting in fourth, so it could be a big moment for them.
Yeah, good up.
So difficult to take off on port jibe back into that swell, so you really need probably another knot to even 2 knots of true wind speed to actually get the boat to take off on port versus starboard.
Athena Pathway, Great Britain take the lead in leg 2 of 4. The threat might now come from a Alinghi Red Bull Racing. It just depends how they manage this bottom half of the course.
I think Athena Pathway there, Stephen, really struggling to actually get the boat back up to speed to get this jibe in, so they're getting close to the boundary. Could be the Swiss that actually come through in good shape. All about this jibe for Athena Pathway.
I will. All the way up.
Yeah, British just going into a jibe. They're actually, to keep the apparent wind forward, they were actually going upwind there, sailing away from the bottom mark gate. Then they went into the jibe, but unfortunately for them, they have touched down, and certainly coming back out on port is really difficult to get the boat elevated out of the water. Looks like the New Zealanders, who are right next to us at the moment, are just about foiling again. But to windward of them, we've got the Swiss coming down faster and sailing about 20 degrees deeper.
Yeah, the Swiss just need to keep it going. There's actually really good pressure at the bottom right-hand side of the track. Swiss just need to get into it before that final manoeuvre. And back to the gate. Oh, well saved.
Athena Pathway, I think, have also taken off as well. So they've been able to get their boat in a little more pressure to take off. So watching the Swiss here, they need to get this jibe executed. Pick it down, a swell. Nice smooth turn there. Big catch there. And they'll need to get accelerated down.
The Kiwis are still parked, but they have jibed round to starboard. I mean, really the only hope of getting going. Right of ways with Switzerland.
So we were about to complete the halfway stage of race 5, Group A, in the Puig Women's Americas Cup.
This is the race committee. We're shortening the course to 3 legs. Finish at the windward gate.
So this is the last downward leg. So the next time any of these boats hit the top gate, it's the finish line. And Alinghi Red Bull Racing, who are just below the cut line, they stay here. They will push themselves above the cut line. So could be a huge result. Emirates Team New Zealand off the foils.
Wow, we're going to see a big shake-up in these positions. We've got boats foiling, the French and the Luna Rossa team and the American team all foiling. The boats at the bottom end of the course, all off the foils except for Alinghi Red Bull Racing. So expect to see some position changes if these boats can't take off.
Surely the big talking point, group leader, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, still sort of in that top quarter, back and falling, but pressure now really goes on them.
It's a crazy race. You think the Italians, I mean, bossed that start, didn't they? They absolutely nailed it. We're front row at the start. They were essentially equal first with the British at the top and are now in last spot. And if you're the Kiwis, currently looking up the track, you could be very much at the back of this fleet, fighting for your life.
Athena Pathway, Great Britain, now just crawling around the gate. That's the AC40 version of crawling around the gate, but they get there, so their nose is pointed upwind to the finish. Remember, this race has been shortened to 3 legs.
Something coming in about 10.
Right, well, finishing at the top here, so.
Copy. Okay. Upward to boundary at the moment.
Hannah Mills just out her seat, having a look up the track.
That gives us an idea there of who's doing what. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, 27 knots, 28 knots of boat speed. Alinghi Red Bull Racing executing their tack off that left boundary, foiling upwind. So if they can make it up to the top and finish, the other boats have to be there at the finish line within 5 minutes of their finish. Otherwise, they'll get timed out and their result will be taken from the bottom gate. So sailing really well, Alinghi Red Bull Racing, a beautiful tack and sailing the boat nicely locked in. Very, very tricky conditions punching into this swell.
Coming in 5. Whenever you have the speed, in 5. 3, 2.
Steering there, Alexandra Stadler, junior world champion in the women's skiff.
And just on the back of that swell, so they come off their foils as well. Crikey, it's going to be interesting because it's about the boats that can stay on their foils in this race. Even though Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli are well behind, they are foiling, as are the Americans. So all about executing, surfing, and trying to stay on the face of those swells to execute your manoeuvres.
I've been quite surprised that the Kiwis haven't managed to get up and going. They've done a few jibes now. I guess it's something that you can't practice on the simulator. It's just so specific.
They've certainly thrown away a lot of distance. Emirates Team New Zealand, they just had to get down to that bottom gate and around, so you've decided to not even worry about the gate, just try and get foiling.
Looks like Alinghi Red Bull Racing are back up and falling. Here's the story. American Magic, they need points. They need points fast with 3 races after this if they want to try and make the cut. They're currently in 3rd position. You can follow your team on the bottom of your screen. But this could be the story of the opening day, part of the day. Alinghi Red Bull Racing sitting just below the cut line coming into race 5. And they have just handled these rather tricky conditions at this point pretty well. So well, they've got one more tack and then it'll be across the finish line. And they're not going to mow the lawn too much on this one.
Catch it, yes. I hold this one, I hold here.
And in comes Alinghi Red Bull Racing. They will get 10 points. Those 10 points, once they cross the line, will push them above the cut line and into 3rd position. Big start to the day for Alinghi Red Bull Racing.
We confirm that we finish. Let's go down. You can press,
That's huge. That is absolutely huge in the scale of Group A right now.
Confirmed.
They sailed so well. I mean, cool. And it is really, really tricky conditions. We had a 17-minute race, and look how spread out these very good teams are. It is full-on, unstable, funky, difficult conditions.
It is, and the boats behind all coming off their foils, and they all have to finish within 5 minutes of Alinghi Red Bull Racing, otherwise they will be scored from the previous gate. So that race to the bottom gate, very, very critical to get some points on the board.
This is the other big talking point as far as the points go, because if Athena Pathway, Great Britain, can stay in this position, they go to the top of the ladder. It would be equal points with Italy, but we're working on the last result. So this could be another swing in this whole regatta.
They'll need to be getting to that finish line before they time out. About 2 and a bit minutes to go, so they should get there in time, all things being equal, and they'll get that 7 points. So they'll be wanting that finish line to be motoring towards them as much as possible, which it won't be.
On the bow now, kind of almost catching up to them on this angle.
Yeah, copy. Alcohol got way too tight there.
Copy.
Aboard American Magic, steering on that starboard side. Erika Reneke trimming for her, Louisa Nordstrom.
It's probably another minute this way.
And I see it high.
Anna Mills, Saskia Clark there. No need for the goggles right at the moment in these light air conditions.
Okay, stand by. Touch. Build if we can. That's right.
Very calm on board, very clean comms. Kept it calm throughout this race and are about to reap the rewards.
I will. Hold up. Big rescue. Down to 80.
Only entering that tack at about 22 knots of boat speed. So very, very difficult to keep the boat foiling
That's our finish on the bow.
in less than 23, 24 knots of boat speed in these bumpy conditions. So I'll have enough in the bank though to sneak through in front of the Americans, who are just on their foils behind them, but Athena Pathway should be safe for second.
Yep. It doesn't matter how you get across the line, just get across the line. And that's a big second place finish.
Penalty New Zealand. Boundary penalty New Zealand.
For Athena Pathway, Great Britain. They get the 7 points and go to the top of Group A after race 5. Fans are happy about that, and why wouldn't they be? But here's the other story, a team that was sitting at the bottom of Group A, and
New
points
Zealand, you need to
valuable.
lose about 100 metres compared to USA.
Once they finish, they'll get the points. They will still be 6th place, but 3 more races to go. And weather conditions like this, anything can change.
American Magic just putting plenty in the bank there, reaching across at 90 true to then make sure they pull off their final tack.
And American Magic get their first podium finish in the Puig Women's America's Cup. You can hear the delight on their voices. That's a 3rd place finish, 5 points, and well done.
Downwind.